Hello everyone, welcome to For His Name's Sake. We are so glad that you have joined us today. I'm Martina, and this is my daughter Valentine. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And we're a homeless family living in our truck. Today we're going to talk about stress and anxiety, what all that entails, and different ways that people react to that, and then how we shouldn't do it and how we should do it. How to handle it, that is. And if my voice sounds strange, I've mentioned this in a video before that I don't know, I think I'm losing my voice. Hopefully it's just temporarily, maybe it's laryngitis, I don't know. But you can pray for me if you like. But yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I guess first of all, we'll talk about how there's different ways, different things that trigger, there's the word I'm looking for, that trigger anxiety. And the way I see it is that, and it could be vice versa, stress either creates anxiety or anxiety creates, I don't know how that works, but they seem to go hand in hand. And there wasn't any Bible verses about stress, but there was a lot of things about don't be anxious in the Bible. So we thought, well, we'll just put it together because they kind of go hand in hand. But I guess we can start naming off different ways that people get stressed out. What causes stress in our lives? You want to go first? I'm putting Valentine on the spot here.
Health issues. We've been going through quite a bit of health issues, not just with my dad, but certain family members. So yeah, that has been stressful.
Very stressful. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. For example, for me, I don't mind sharing. I've been having some swelling in my legs to the point where it was very noticeable, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor thought that maybe I had a blood clot, so she checked for, I think it's called deep vein thrombosis, but thank God I don't have a blood clot. She said I had a little one, but nothing to write home about. And then my heel hurts, my left foot hurts, so there's some pain there, so I have to go to a specialist for that, a foot doctor. And if you're wondering how we're paying for all this, well, we have the money's going quick, but we do have a little money left over from the auction of our house. So, but when that money's gone, it's gone. But I just pray and hope we don't have any medical problems once it's gone, because we didn't qualify for government aid. So anyway, and not that we really want to rely on the government, to be honest with you. We'd like to just trust in God somehow to take care of us. And He's been very good in taking care of us so far, but still, it's very stressful. And now this voice thing is kind of interesting. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know. But anyway, so that can cause a lot of stress in the family because, we all worry about each other. So yeah, health problems. Another one would be, I would say, your job. If your job is stressful, especially if it's you're working in a fast-paced fast food restaurant, like what's a good one? Subway sandwiches. Oh my goodness, you got to keep going. You got to work quickly, and there's a line full of people waiting, customers ordering and they want all kinds of toppings. Oh my goodness, I could not do that working under pressure like that. Could you work like that under
Especially
pressure?
If it's really, really loud.
Yes.
We have a Panda Express here. You probably do as well. Tell me if it's just our Panda Express, but it is really loud in there. Because the kitchen's wide open, we can see it, and it's constant bang, bang, and fire shooting out kind of thing in the kitchen. That's just too loud for me. That's stressful. So I know I don't have very good hearing as it is, so I could not work in a fast food restaurant.
Yeah. So your job, or if you have to meet a certain deadline, if you're working like
under contract.
Exactly, yeah. So, or even people like authors who are what I call I guess they're called freelancers, I don't know, but they're authors, but they still have deadlines to meet. If they have an editor or a publisher, I guess, if they have a publisher or an agent that they're working for, they're going to say, hurry up, we need to have this book done by so-and-so date so we can get it into the, printing mode. Hurry up. So your readers are waiting for the next, sequel to this book, or that's a lot of pressure too, and it can cause a lot of stress. What are some other ways that stress can be formed, I guess is the word I'm looking for?
Family relationships, whether it's with your spouse or with your child,
True.
depending on the situation.
Yes. Or we've been meeting some people who are they're adults like my age in their 50s, but they're having to take care of their mother who has dementia, or a father who has Alzheimer's, and that has got to be extremely tiring and tedious. And I don't know if I can handle that. I would have to step outside the house and have some time for myself just to get away, because I heard that can be very difficult. And we know someone who actually we kind of see her every week at a coffee shop. She said, I just need to get away. It's too stressful to stay in the house all the time and have to deal with that all the time. So my husband and I, we take turns taking care of the relative that's got dementia. So that can cause a lot of stress right there. Trying to think, what's another one? So we mentioned a job, we mentioned family, relationships, we mentioned health. What's another one?
Traffic.
Oh yeah, traffic. You're stuck in traffic, or you're, even just going 70 miles an hour. To me, that's that makes me very anxious. I mean, sweaty hands, my heart's going, so that can cause a lot of stress too. Or just lousy drivers, people who tailgate you from behind you, or they cut in front of you at the last minute. And there's a lot of that going on in this city, like all the time. So that's extremely stressful for us to put up with. Me and Valentine, I think, are taking it the hardest. My husband's more, c'est la vie, such is life. So I'm trying to think, okay, what else can cause stress?
Well, if you have a house, and if it's an old one or new one, maybe there's some house issues, like you have to get a new roof all of a sudden, or the plumbing's gone bad.
That's true.
Things like that can cause stress. There goes your money.
Right, and then that made me think of, like, people call it, they call it Mother Nature. Well, we don't believe in Mother Nature. It's God's in charge of, the weather and that kind of thing, and that's just how our family believes in. And so all these tornadoes, and that's even biblical. It's in the Bible that there will be more of those, more of earthquakes, more of all of that, and that has got to be extremely stressful for all those people who have lost homes and loved ones and still stuck in places that they can't get out of. That, oh my goodness, that causes stress and extreme anxiety, I would think, as well. Like things that they have no control over whatsoever. So yeah, natural disasters, I guess that's the word I'm looking for too.
And really, even the everyday trials, even if it's something really small, that still stress is causing you worry or fear, even if it's temporary. Yeah. Because that's the world we live in until Jesus Christ comes back and makes all things new. But until then, we're going to deal with stresses in life.
Yes.
But it's how we deal with them that matters.
Right.
And I'm preaching to myself, because I had at least 2 days in a row, and I could tell you this, where I had an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
Just because it was just getting too much.
I was very concerned for Valentine. Poor her. I hadn't seen her like that, because she's always very, calm, cool, and collected for the most part. And I just thought, oh goodness, I was bringing it to the Lord. Lord, please help her. I don't know how much longer we can handle this. I think the homelessness is getting to you. Might as well come out and say it.
That too.
So everybody can hear it once and for all. I think it's really getting to her now. Because it's been a little over a year, and we don't know how much longer we're going to be like this. So,
and again, for those of you who are new, just look back at the homeless journey playlist that my dad put up.
Yeah.
Because we have gotten comments in the past who were new to the channel. We're like, well, that's your own fault. You just get jobs. The videos will explain everything. So I don't think that we did anything wrong. I do believe that God allowed us to be homeless, and we certainly learned a lot. But I'm
still learning.
I'm only human.
Yeah.
And there's there's going to be a limit to how much I can take. And then my parents' health issues. I'm having some health issues currently. So yeah, that is stressful.
Yeah.
And I have not been handling it well. I tend to be the type of person to complain first and pray later. It should be the reverse. You're supposed to come to Jesus. In fact, my mom will read you one of her favorite passages
Yeah.
Where Jesus wants you to come to him first.
Yeah, I've got it written down
Yeah.
because I just got it written down. Okay, so this is from Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30, and this is Jesus talking. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
We need to remember that we just can't carry it all. We just can't. We have to bring it to Jesus. But that's the first thing we do, like Valentine says. The first thing we do is, woe is me, and can't handle this, or we cry, or take it out on someone else, or I don't know what. And then after we've done all that for what seems hours, then we're like, Lord, where are you? That's because we didn't go to God first. So we're the ones that made the mistake. Yeah.
And no one really probably likes to know about the yoke part, but Jesus put that demonstration for a reason. A yoke, back in ancient times, where two oxen were together and they had the yoke to pull the plow. Not one oxen could do alone, they needed the other. And usually it was an older ox, if I remember correctly, an older ox would teach the younger ox how to pull and carry this yoke and the plow. It's the same with us in our relationship with Jesus. He helps carry the load. He is the wiser, and we are to learn from him. And he carries most of the brunt on his shoulders.
Yes. And the reason I'm smiling, I was listening to you, but when I saw yoke, I was thinking like yolk, like an egg.
No.
But this is not Y-O-L-K,
No.
it's Y-O-K-E.
That's right.
It's different, yeah. Right. Okay, I think you had one that you wanted to share as well for when we're dealing with stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Well, Philippians in itself is a wonderful, beautiful book. I think they call it the joyful book or the peaceful book. So read that, and I'm sure it'll calm you. But Philippians 4 is known to have that stress-free recipe, so to speak. Verse 6 says, "Be anxious for nothing." That's impossible to do without the Lord.
Yeah.
So be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. So he does want you to come to him. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. I like that. I never thought about the guard your hearts and minds. I always focused on the peace. But really, it's like when we do come to him, it's almost like a protection. He protects your mind from thinking all this negativity, and your heart too.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
And then Philippians 8 is that whatever is true and noble and praiseworthy, think on these things. And then it says, once you do that, then the God of peace will be with you. So you get the peace of God, and the God of peace will be with you.
Wow.
You get a double fold there.
Yeah. Nice. And then the only other one I had was from Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So, yeah, things God will work all. I don't know why I found that one, but when I was looking up verses, like on Google, I used to do a lot of Google researches, and sometimes it can be good and sometimes it's not. It depends on where you get your sources from. But mine usually says it comes from BibleTools.com. I think that's the one I'm mentioning it. So I figured, well, it sounds like a pretty good, accurate website. But yeah, so God cares for us. He's going to take care of us. We can go to him for anything and everything, and he already knows what we're going through before we even went through it. And a lot of times he will allow us to go through those trials and tribulations for lots of reasons, to build up our faith, to build up our walk with him. It makes us that much stronger in him. It builds up our faith. So yeah,
that is how he uses our trials for good, like
Yeah.
the passage says.
Yeah, according to his purpose, right?
And of course, in the end, ultimately, we don't have to worry about stress or worries or fears on that glorious day when we're under the new heaven and the new earth. Won't that be wonderful? Right. This conversation we're having right now will be irrelevant because it'll be almost like it never happened. At least that's what I'm thinking, because it'll just be so perfect up there.
Yeah, and everything will be forgotten anyway that happened here on earth, because it's supposed to be all good and wonderful up there. Yeah.
Now, I mean, if that's what we're thinking, now if it's different and we do remember what happened down here on earth, I think we're going to see the good and God's faithfulness of how He brought us through the trials.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But now, there are some people that I do want to mention this, there are some people that will take medicine for anxiety because they just are so anxious for so many things and they just can't handle it. And I don't know if it's something in their DNA, or, if it runs in families. I know, for example, depression can run in families. Her brother, my son, has been diagnosed with clinical depression. And we already knew there was something not all there, mentally, when he was just 3 years old. He was tested for all kinds of things. So, and I know that in my family, my ancestors, there was some depression on my father's side. So, and along with that comes anxiety and OCD and other kind of disorders like that. It doesn't mean it's anyone's fault. Sometimes it is inherited. It is passed down through the generations, and sometimes anxiety is so bad that people have to take medication for it. And I'm not going to talk bad about it because I haven't been there, so I can't say I understand because I've never been in those shoes before. I don't know if you take medicine for anxiety or overwhelming stress, and you don't mind sharing it in the comments, please tell us how that is. And is it addictive? And, does it really help? Does it kind of alleviate your anxiety? That would be neat to know. Or if you don't feel comfortable putting in the comments, you can always send us an email at
For His Name's Sake 106@gmail.com. You can also find the email, I think, on the main channel page.
Yeah. Exactly. So, so today was about stress and anxiety and what not to do. Don't do it on your own.
Right.
And, if you want to talk to someone like you have a family member you want to share with that, your burdens, that's fine. We can still do that. We need tangible, someone we can, touch and hold. And for those of you who live alone, I know that may be sad that you don't have anyone, but if you're part of a church, you can tell your fellow church people, or if you're part of a life group or a cell group or home groups, I think is what they're called, where you're getting together and having fellowship and that kind of thing, then, you were going to say something.
Well, my battery is blinking.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we better say the famous last words.
Well, first, go to Jesus, and I would recommend stepping outside when you're able, because that can help relieve the stress being in God's creation, and look at His beautiful nature. Maybe get a pet to help you with your stress, because God does provide animals for us too.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Please like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and we hope that you have a blessed day, stress-free. Goodbye.
Bye.